MPP's reorganization process, how it has gone and all of those things, are the symptoms of His Excellency, with all respect to him, His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia's fear of losing power. Because,
and of course, same question, lots of people are asking that, what's new for the MPP? Will the restructuring even work? But in your case, I mean, the further they sink, the better for you, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the further the MPP sinks, the better for the NDC.
Why?
The New Patriotic Party must be strong. The New Patriotic Party must be firm. The New Patriotic Party must be a party that represents a credible alternative to the Ghanaian people. I have always said that we would all have Ghana, no matter who governs it. And so, should the lots of leadership, that pendulum of power, swing, whether by some design, whether by chance, or whether by the ultimate will of the Ghanaian people, which I think always prevails, you would want a situation where you are governed by a group of people that are well organized, that are focused, and their attention is on delivering on the matters that are most important to the Ghanaian people, their socio-economic progress. And so it is not the view of the National Democratic Congress that the NDC must sink. Indeed, that is why, the MPP must sink. Indeed, that is why we are troubled by the things that are happening in the MPP. We are extremely worried about that. Of course, we are extremely worried. If you are the NDC and the largest opposition party, and we have membership, more than 6 million people vote for us. And so we are worried about the welfare of those 6 million people should anything happen and the reins of governance lands in the hands of these people. And so we are worried. We want a credible alternative. We are not a political party who thinks that, you know, Ghana should have a situation where there is anarchy in all the other political parties, there is lack of leadership in all the other political parties, and we are the only ones. We want people who can hold our feet to the fire so that we deliver on the mandate for the Ghanaian people. That is why we are worried. You see, on that issue of worry, I think that there is also some factual inaccuracies on the suggestion that the MPP started their reorganization from, you know, the polling station and all of those things, as my sister sought to suggest. That was not what happened.
What happened?
The MPP started their reorganization by electing the leader of party. That is the fact. They didn't start their reorganization from polling station, as my sister wants us to believe. They started their reorganization by electing the leader of the party. If you read Article 55 of the Constitution, it is abundantly clear that the organization of political parties must have a national character, and the internal organization of political parties must be democratic. Bella, you tell me how democratic the idea is that the leader of the party is superimposed before the base is organized. You tell me how democratic that is.
But that's how they choose to reorganize their party.
It is not a democratic process as perceived by the 1992 Constitution. The closest example in our national governance structure that would bring the picture of what they have done to you is our parliament. Let me make it clear. The Parliament of the Republic of Ghana is just like the delegate system, if you pay attention. We all go to our various polls and elect members of parliament. To preside over that parliament as leader, those members then in turn elect a speaker of parliament. Bella, perceive a situation where on January the 7th, December the 7th, right, of any election year, we elect new sets of parliamentarians. Or even before we elect new sets of parliamentarians, the outgoing parliament decides that we will elect a speaker for the next parliament. How democratic is that? How would you react to that? Now, bring it to the New Patriotic Party. Do you realize that's what happened? Do you realize that's what happened? A leadership configuration, a structure which was elected in the previous reorganization, the previous election of the MPP. Then right after they lost an election, they decided that that structure should remain and elect the leader into the next contest before they now begin the reorganization from the base. You see that comparing it to the parliament situation brings the picture to you clearly about how very undemocratic that very exercise is. Beyond the fact that that very exercise is very undemocratic, my greater worry is the fact that that exercise defeats some of the functions and purposes of political parties. Political parties are to amalgamate and aggregate interests. They are to put views of people together. And those views eventually culminate into the very ideas, policies, and propositions that the leader of that political party is supposed to present ultimately to the Ghanaian people to decide. In doing that, the very organization of the party itself aids the process. And so, for any interests, for views, for policies, all of those things to be amalgamated, then there must be room for debates and there must be room for dissent. Do you know what happens if you create a situation where the ultimate person that must carry the idea is put ahead of those who must express their views for him to carry? Room for dissent wiped out completely. Because you cannot dissent against the leader of the party and survive. It is my view that in a proper organization, when political parties are properly organized, so we get to the ultimate point where the leader, the front runner, is selected, everybody must unite behind them. It doesn't matter whether it's MPP or NDC. Anyone who does not unite behind them for that purpose, it is my view that they should be axed. But when you don't organize the process in a way where the dissents come, the views are amalgamated, so that the person who ultimately gets the nod is holding all of you your views, such that anyone who wants to curtail that process you can ask, then you've destroyed the whole thing. That is essentially what the New Patriotic Party did. And you know why they did that? They did that because of the mistaken ideas they have about why they lost election 2024.
But how do you know? You are not privy to their report.
What report?
Well,
we hear them. My good sister has stated some of the reasons. That it's their collective failure, all of those things, were not united, all of those things. My good sister has stated some of them. Indeed, the leader of the party himself, His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, himself has stated some of the reasons. Amongst them, he states disunity. Amongst them, he states that utterances that were made by members of the party were used against him, Dr. Bawumia. The important thing we want to do is to now evaluate what those utterances are, which were used against him, and whether indeed the New Patriotic Party was not united ahead of election 2024. The New Patriotic Party was the most united party ahead of election 2024. They were united in their misgovernance. They were united in their arrogance of power. They were united in their lack of accountability to the Ghanaian people, so much that they have carried that lack of accountability into opposition. You have seen a situation where there were reports about the conduct of certain individuals that were essentially members of the national leadership of the New Patriotic Party, all the political parties in Ghana, by dint of Article 55 of the Constitution, must have as members of their national executives, representatives of the regions. And simply what the political parties do is that they have a neck structure. In any case, we call it neck. I don't know if it's the same with MPP. I think it will be a similar thing.
Neck as well, right?
It's neck as well. And part of that neck structure, the regional executives are there by constitutional dictate. It follows, therefore, that the regional chairman of Ashanti region is a member of the national executive of the NDCs. The regional chairman of the Bono region is a member as well.
Yeah.
We saw a situation where the then Lands and Natural Resources Minister, the Honorable Jinapo, made findings about the conduct of Akunta mining. The New Patriotic Party was united in their resistance to accountability at the time. You remember, the then leader of the New Patriotic Party, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in their quest to prevent accountability, said that there was no wrongdoing, after his own minister said there were wrongdoing. In opposition, when courts of competent jurisdiction have made determination on this matter, the New Patriotic Party went on a protest, protesting why the judiciary of this country clamped down on what
but
is
how
essentially
is this related to them.
It is related to them because they said the problem for them is that they were not united, when the real problem is that they have forgotten what the real ends of power are. The real ends of power, Bella, is about delivering on the socio-economic mandates of the people, not just possessing power. If you observe all they have done throughout the process, I have said that the MPP's reorganization process, how it has gone and all of those things, are the symptoms of His Excellency, with all respect to him, His Excellency, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia's fear of losing power. Because if it were about the mandate of the people, the things he was saying, that they were used against him, what were the things the Honorable Kennedy Ejapon was saying? The Honorable Kennedy Ejapon was saying that you promised people economic deliverables. You failed on that. And that is what the people are concerned about. And all these claims about Dr. Bawumia, even you suggested it, not having the steer. They are not true.
I didn't suggest it. Do you
remember gold for oil? You remember gold for oil, right? Yeah, I'll land on that. I'll land on that in 30 seconds. Remember gold for oil, right? Is it an economic policy? It is, Bella. Why don't you want to admit it is? It is an economic. It is an economic policy.
You're making your point.
Do you remember Dr. Bawumia said that he was not in charge of the economy at some point, even though at the start of the administration he introduced a solid team to us? Do you also remember that Dr. Bawumia eventually turned around to tell us that when fuel prices were being increased, he was unaware? The person who was pretending over a policy that was essentially its objective to reduce fuel prices turns around and tells you that he was unaware that fuel prices were being increased. The problem of the New Patriotic Party that led to their defeat in 2024 is not lack of unity. It is not anything they are suggesting that Kennedy Ejapon said. It is the realities of the fact that the New Patriotic Party has forgotten that the ends of power is delivering on the mandate of the people, and their reorganization effort does not take that into account at all. That is why they are approaching it this way. So I don't see them having any credible alternative so far. And we in the NDC, we are extremely worried.
I see. So you've conducted your research, you've gotten your findings all in
we are extremely worried.
Let me bring Bracco in. I saw you nodding at certain points when various statements